Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So, guys, Eddie Hearn has said that if there's anyone that can beat Canelo, or who has the best chance of beating Canelo Alvarez, he said, Eddie Hearn said that he thinks that Canelo Alvarez is unbeatable, and he's been bigging Canelo Alvarez up. Been saying Canelo Alvarez is this, that, and now people are saying, why you got your head, up Canelo's, what, because you're promoting him. But, that's natural. Any promoter that's promoting the best pound for pound fighter in the world, who's the biggest star in boxing, right? You're going to be bigging up. You're going to be talking, you're going to be talking about him in that way, aren't you? It's natural. If you were promoting any fighter, you big him up like that. Let alone promoting Canelo, who's such a big star. Basically said that he thinks that that if there's anyone that can beat if there's anyone that can beat Canelo, is Billy Joe Saunders. He has the best chance of beating Canelo Alvarez. I obviously have my opinion. I think a lot of people have criticized Hearn because they're saying, well, you're saying Canelo Alvarez is unbeatable and you promote Eddie Hearn. So what does that make you think about? What does that make you think about Billy Joe? Are you basically saying Billy Joe's got no chance to beat Canelo Alvarez? Right? So it's kind of a tricky one, because since Eddie Hearn's probably gonna want Canelo Alvarez to beat Billy Joe, because he knows he can have a lot of fun and make a lot of money with Canelo. Whereas obviously Billy Joe doesn't have the financial mileage that Canelo has. Of course, if he beats Canelo, then Billy Joe will be a star as well. But really, I think Eddie Hearn would want Canelo to win that fight, even though he's Billy Joe's promoter and he's going to try to be a neutral. I think inside he's probably going to want Canelo to win, because he wants to extend his deal and work with Canelo for a long time. He wants to be involved in this Canelo journey. I don't think it's just about the money for Hearn. It's about him doing great things, him, selling out huge arenas, him going to different parts of the world and doing different things. I think that's what Eddie Hearn's all about. He's all about making history, making great nights, making some of the best nights that will be remembered in years to come. I think it's not just all about money for Hearn. It's about, becoming a legendary promoter. I think he has that as a goal. He wants to be remembered as a promoter that people say, wow, that Hearn guy was an unbelievable promoter. I think he has that kind of drive. And he's a great promoter. Eddie Hearn's a very, very good promoter. He knows what to say, when to say it. But in terms of him saying that he thinks Billy Joe Saunders has the best chance out of 168 and 160, I don't think I agree with that, to be honest. I think the best chance I would give to Benavidez, just because I've seen Benavidez fight. Benavidez is very tough, very big, very tall, and he's very fast. He's very fast, and I think someone with that kind of high range, speed, hand speed, is going to be a problem for Canelo. I think Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo's fought many guys like that. He's fought many slick guys, and people say he struggles. He's got better over time with guys like that. And I think Billy Joe Saunders hasn't got the punch to really keep Canelo off. And I think Canelo will walk him down. One thing I will say, I feel Canelo's gonna may struggle first couple of rounds, but I think Canelo will stop Billy Joe Saunders. That's my opinion. But one thing I want to say to the Billy Joe Saunders fan, a lot of them come on my channel, and whenever you say something about a certain fighter, you get called a hater. Just because I think Canelo's going to beat Billy Joe Saunders, you're automatically a Billy Joe Saunders hater, because you think Canelo's gonna beat him, right? Because I think Canelo's going to beat him, I'm automatically a Billy Joe Saunders hater to his fans. That's how unfortunately, when you're a fanboy of a certain fighter, that's how you're going to be viewed when you say their favorite fighter is going to lose. All I'm going to say to the Billy Joe Saunders fans that come on my channel, watch my videos, that if Billy Joe Saunders wins the fight, right, watch my post-fight video after the fight, right? I'll still be here. I want to say to Billy Joe Saunders fans, if Canelo Alvarez beats Billy Joe Saunders, I want you to keep that same energy after the fight, right? Because I've made many predictions and been wrong. I've made many predictions that I was right. I can't see the future. I don't know who's gonna win. I'm just giving you my opinion on who I think wins the fight out of the two. On what I've seen in their career so far, looking at both of their skill set, I think Canelo's gonna win by stoppage as well. That's my prediction, and that's not gonna change. I believe he will stop Billy Joe Saunders. That's my prediction. Now, a lot of you find that offensive and think, oh, but Canelo will not stop Billy Joe Saunders. We'll see. We'll see. Listen, if I'm wrong and Canelo wins on points, I'll say, wow, I think that would be great. Billy Joe Saunders, if he manages to make the fight interesting and go and have a close fight with Canelo and lose on points, like a 116, 112, I'll say, wow, Billy Joe Saunders did better than what I expected him to. And I'll give him credit for that. But I think this fight I think Canelo KOs him between 7 to 9 rounds. That's what I think. Anyway, I think Billy Joe Saunders isn't a natural 168 guy. I think the skills that he have are gonna be less effective at 168 because he's putting on more weight. He looks quite big to me, and I think that's slowing him down. Against Martin Murray, Martin Murray landed so many punches. Andy Lee at 160 landed so many punches. Chris Eubank landed so many punches. Canelo Alvarez is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He's levels and levels above anyone that Billy Joe Saunders has ever been in the ring with. He's going to land punches. And Canelo's punches are going to hurt. And they're going to be very powerful. Right? And they're going to slow you down. He's going to hit you with a lot of he's going to hit Billy Joe with a lot of body shots. And Billy Joe will slow down and become more of a static target for Canelo. And once he becomes a static target, then the fight for me is as good as over. It's not me hating on Billy Joe Saunders, just the way I think the fight's going to play out. I might be wrong. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I don't hate Billy Joe Saunders. I don't hate any fighter. The other day I made a video about saying that I think Fury beats Joshua. All the Joshua fans came on to me and said, oh, you're a Joshua hater, you're a Fury fanboy. I'm not pushing any agenda, man. I don't have any horse in the race. I don't prefer Canelo over... Canelo's one of my favorite fighters to watch. Right now, I think he's the best fighter in the world. But I don't have a favoritism towards Canelo over Billy Joe. No. I'm just giving you my honest breakdown of who I think wins from a stylistic point of view. If I'm wrong, then after the fight, I'll say, wow, Billy Joe Saunders shot me. I didn't expect that. He is ultimately... If he beats Canelo, that would be a huge win. Huge upset win. But right now, I view that fight as like a 90-10 fight in Canelo's favor. 90% in Canelo's favor, 10% in Saunders' favor. Forget styles, forget any of that. Canelo's fought many guys stylistically like Billy Joe. Trout, Lara. Cotto was a very good boxer, although Cotto didn't really look to be slick. He was boxing, and at times he would come in close and have a fight. Even Khan to an extent was tough for Saunders. He was outboxing Canelo, making it tough for him as well. And you clearly can see that Canelo does have trouble against guys with hand speed, foot speed, but he's improved massively since then. When he fought Lara, that was ages ago. When he fought Trout, that was ages ago. When he fought Khan, that was ages ago. We're talking about 6-7 years ago. He's come on massively, not just physically, but from a mental point of view, from how he views. He's just in his prime right now. Canelo's in his prime right now. He's a completely different fighter from when he fought those names that I just mentioned. Cotto, Khan, Trout, Lara. He's a completely different fighter. And people say Golovkin won the first. But okay, Golovkin won the first fight against Canelo. I'll give you that. But Golovkin's not... Billy Joe Saunders not Golovkin. Billy Joe Saunders isn't powerful and a huge puncher, right? That's going to be walking Canelo down, putting it on him, sticking it on him, right? And Canelo's going to be worried about being taken out. Golovkin had serious power. Billy Joe Saunders don't have that kind of... Billy Joe Saunders has nothing that Canelo's going to be afraid of. No one goes... most boxers will tell you, no boxer goes in the ring, right? What do they... When a boxer goes in a ring, what do they fit? A guy that's a big puncher. Because at any second or any round, you could be flat on your back. You could be put asleep if you're in there with a big puncher. Canelo knew Golovkin could seriously hurt him in that fight. Canelo had to be sharp and on his game, right? Because he knew he couldn't have been put to sleep by Golovkin. Golovkin had that much power, right? Billy Joe Saunders hasn't got that kind of power. He hasn't stopped anyone. I can't remember when Billy Joe Saunders scored a knockout on the YouTube undercard against that guy that's the last time I remember Billy Joe Saunders stopping somebody. He don't stop anybody. So for me, Canelo's just too strong. Canelo's too strong. So I don't see Billy Joe beating. I don't see him beating Canelo because of those reasons that I mentioned earlier on. But in terms of the guy who I think is the best guy that could cause Canelo trouble in both divisions, and I don't think he wins. I think it's Benavidez. I think Billy Joe Saunders has as good a chance as Caleb Plant. I think both of them lack power. Both of them have very good feet, and both of them are fast, very fast. Okay. See, a lot of people, I said this in a previous video, a lot of people here in the UK have never seen Caleb Plant. See, I've watched Caleb Plant, and I know, and Billy Joe Saunders has seen Caleb Plant, and he himself has said, I rate Caleb Plant. I rate him, as Billy Joe Saunders said that out of his own mouth, that I really rate Caleb Plant, but that fight can never happen because we're on different networks, and it's just unlikely that fight's going to happen. Caleb Plant has just as good a chance to beat Canelo as Billy Joe. If what you think, if you think Canelo struggles with those slick guys with fast feet, guys with fast, Caleb Plant is that guy. Caleb Plant is just like Billy Joe Saunders. Fast feet. He's not a southpaw, but fast feet, fast hands, moves around the ring. Go watch Caleb Plant on the Manny Pacquiao undercard. Go watch Caleb Plant against Utsakatsi when he won the title. Go watch Caleb Plant. I know he didn't look great in his last fight against Caleb Truax, but go watch his last couple of fights prior to that. Caleb Plant has as good a chance. Caleb Plant's a very good fighter. Very good fighter. He has just as good a chance as beating Canelo as Billy Joe Saunders. But for me, the guy that has the best chance of beating Canelo is David Benavidez, because he's tall, he's fast, and he's big. He's big. See, the other thing I have my thought, have my reservations about Saunders and the Canelo fight is whether Billy Joe Saunders is going to be able to absorb Canelo's punch power, and not just be like, he might be able to take shots, but how long is he going to be able to take it before he starts wearing down? How long is it before his stamina starts to, become an issue? How long is it, or can he even take his his punch at all? If Canelo lands a huge punch, who knows? He might knock Saunders out. I have my reservations because I haven't really seen Billy Joe Saunders take a lot of punishment, and it's not that he's not really been in there with big punches. I think the only one was really Lemieux. I felt Andy Lee troubled him a little bit. I felt Eubank troubled him a little bit. I felt Shifat Sufi wobbled him. And these guys, like I said, are levels below. Like Shifat Sufi shouldn't have even been fighting for a world title. Like that guy's, I'm sorry, he shouldn't have been fighting for a world title. But in terms of Andy Lee and Eubank, those guys don't have the punch power of Canelo. Canelo hits with a lot of venom. He's got his punch selection is unbelievable. He's just a brilliant fighter. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Canelo gets on today. I expect him to win within 4 rounds today. And then obviously the Billy Joe Saunders fight is intriguing for me because there's a lot of Billy Joe Saunders fans that thinks he's great and he's going to beat Canelo. And Billy Joe Saunders has been saying for years that he feels he's going to beat Canelo. I want to see how good Billy Joe Saunders is. I think that's the main, most boxing fans, that's why we're intrigued here in the UK. I don't think the Americans are too sold on it, but I think here in the UK, the reason why we want to see it is because I think the British fans want to see how good Billy Joe Saunders is, because he said a lot of things over the years. We want to see how good he is and whether he is as good as what he says he is, or is it just all talk? That's what we want to see. And we'll find out against Canelo how good Billy Joe Saunders is, because Canelo's top draw. If he beats Canelo, then, or even if he doesn't beat Canelo and puts up a good fight where he loses, like I said, 115, 113, or 116, 112, he would have proven he's a world-class, I'm talking a world-class fighter. Right now you would say he's world-class, he's, 2-division world champion, but his resume is not that great, really. He has yet to fight someone like he's yet to fight an elite fighter, and Canelo's going to be that guy. Now he might be fighting a guy that's beyond elite. He might be fighting a guy that's pound for pound the best in the world. So it may be a task too far. I think I would have loved to see him in a fight with Andrade or Charlo before, just to see how, he would fare against someone like that. But unfortunately, he's going to be jumping straight into the lion's den against someone like Canelo. And that's why I think that's another problem, that he's not really fought the other top guys. Now, a lot of you have come to his, you say that he wants to fight those guys, but those fights can't be made. Yeah, fair enough. But that's still going to be an issue when he fights Canelo. The fact that he's not been in the ring with a lot of top level guys. The fact that he's not been in the ring with a lot of top names at 160 and 168. Like I said, I don't think Billy Joe Saunders has been in with anyone that's top. So right now, if you look at the 160 and 168 pound division, all of the champions, Billy Joe Saunders hasn't fought one of them. Or even all of the top names that we consider contenders or top names or world champions in around those divisions, Billy Joe Saunders hasn't fought one. So that's going to be a problem as well. The experience, the level of competition it's a huge level. And like I said many times before, that usually when you jump that many levels and you jump up that much in class, usually you come up unstuck. So is Billy Joe Saunders going to be an exception? He could be. Billy Joe Saunders is mentally very strong. He is a guy that believes in himself. And he is a guy that I wouldn't write off just because of the background. These are fighting people. Billy Joe Saunders is a fighting man. He's a guy that, like I said, really believes in himself. And they're very dangerous people that believe in himself. I don't think he's like Callum Smith. Where even though I think Callum Smith would be a tough fight for Saunders, don't get me wrong, stylistically it's not an easy fight, tall, rangy, it would be a very hard fight for Smith, for Saunders. But I just think Billy Joe Saunders has a lot more self-belief than someone like Callum Smith. Callum Smith seems like he looks like a guy that needs confidence installed in him. Like he needs that push, where Billy Joe Saunders is kind of has that self-confidence that he's the man and he's going to beat Canelo, and Canelo has not faced someone like him. See, that belief, the fact that going in the ring, believing that I don't feel that he's been in the ring with anyone like me. I'm a different fighter to anything he's fought. I'm this, I'm that. That belief can take you a long way. As long as it doesn't get to a point where it becomes delusional, and I don't think Billy Joe Saunders is. I think Billy Joe Saunders believes in himself, and he is a good fighter. He has got good skills, but again, those skills have only been showcased against certain types of fighters. It hasn't been showcased against the top boys in around 160 and 168. So that's why anyone that's most people, that are picking Canelo to win the fight is because of that, because they don't know how good Billy Joe Saunders is. He's fought guys that are much lesser level to what, than even Charlo for that matter. See, Charlo for me has got a better win on his resume than anything Billy Joe Saunders has got. Charlo beating Derevyanchenko, for me, Derevyanchenko is better than Andy Lee. For me, he would beat Andy Lee. For me, Derevyanchenko would beat Chris Eubank. For me, Derevyanchenko would beat David Lemieux. So, for me, Charlo has got a better win on his resume than Saunders. That's my honest opinion. I feel Charlo's got a better win because for me, Derevyanchenko's a top guy. I thought Derevyanchenko beat Golovkin, and he was unlucky. I generally thought Derevyanchenko beat Golovkin. I do. And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, Billy Joe Saunders would slaughter Golovkin's got a horrible style for Billy Joe Saunders. Horrible style. And I always thought Golovkin would beat Saunders. He's got a horrible... See, I would have preferred... I think the fight for Billy Joe Saunders would have been the Andrade fight, which was made and then he failed the test. Would have been a great fight because Andrade, for me, is a slick boxer. See, Golovkin is a pressure fighter. He's a guy that's going to... He cuts off the ring better than Canelo. He's a pressure fighter. Billy Joe Saunders would have found it very, very difficult to beat someone like Golovkin. Because, Canelo's not as good a pressure fighter as Golovkin. He's got better, don't get me wrong. Canelo's got better over the years. And that's why I'm saying that the Canelo that fought Cotto, Khan, Lara, and Trout is a completely different Canelo now. He's improved he's improved on various aspects. And being a pressure fighter is one of them. Canelo's got better at that game. Golovkin is an unbelievable pressure fighter. The way he cuts off the ring and just puts you in a position where with that power, right? He's such a danger because he's cutting off the ring, and you know how powerful he is. You don't want him to be near you, but he's always near you. That it's not just a physical pressure, it's the mental pressure that Golovkin puts on you. And with Billy Joe Saunders wouldn't be able to keep Golovkin off. Golovkin would be there on him. Golovkin has got older now, and he is slower, but I still think just because of the lack of power and the fact that Golovkin's you're not going to be able to stop Golovkin in his tracks. And that would be a problem for Saunders, any of these guys. Still. And Golovkin is a lot better boxer than what people give him credit for. Let's not forget, a lot of people thought Golovkin won the second fight against Canelo. And there he was boxing. Even in the first fight, at times, Golovkin was boxing. See, Canelo was a very, very good boxer. A guy that's just coming forward, right, recklessly, isn't going to be able to beat Canelo Alvarez. You'll see that tonight. Avni Yildirim is going to be coming forward, probably recklessly, right? And trying to make it a scrap. See, Golovkin's very educated in the pressure he puts on you. So that's why I always thought that, for me, I always felt Golovkin was a worse fight for Saunders than even Canelo. I think Saunders has more of a chance of beating someone like Canelo than he does Saunders. I believe Saunders has a better chance of beating someone like Canelo than a Golovkin. Golovkin's stylistically a horrible matchup for Saunders. I think Saunders has a better, for me anyway, has a better chance of beating Canelo than Golovkin. I think Golovkin's style is horrible. Horrible. And especially against someone like Saunders, when he knows that he needs to cut off that ring because of the way Saunders fights, he's going to be even more aggressive. That's a horrible, horrible matchup. It's whether Golovkin can still do that anymore. I'm not sure whether he has the legs that he once had. But prime Golovkin, no chance Saunders wins that. Even a Golovkin of maybe 2. And even now, he probably would have a chance. I still wouldn't favour Saunders. I still would favour Golovkin just because, like I said, I think stylistically the fight don't favour him. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with Eddie Hearn that Billy Joe Saunders has the best chance of beating Canelo out of the top 160, 168 pounders? I don't think so. For me, it's Benavidez, but leave your thoughts. Or Golovkin for that matter. Or leave your thoughts in the comment section below to let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.